Okay, I don't know how, I don't know why, but somehow they managed to make Green Eggs and Ham work as a series. That is a 1 in a million possibility that they managed to beat, considering how bad Dr. Seuss adaptations usually are. The book was originally just a beginner book for preschoolers, but they put so much love and care into it. No one asked them to, and they just did it. I mean, at this point, I have no choice but to stand. Like, the crew should just take a bow. This has to be the absolute best Dr. Seuss adaptation ever made, and that's without having to set the bar low. I'm serious. Bravo. Bravo.
Joy!
The series was created by Jared Stern, who was a writer for Wreck-It Ralph and Lego Batman Movie, and Ellen DeGeneres is an executive producer. Kinda weird that Ellen is part of this, but I guess it's a favorite book of hers that she probably reads to her children, I guess. And it must be if they're willing to spend $6 million on each episode just to make it. Granted, a lot of that goes to a star-studded cast with Michael Douglas, Diane Keaton, Adam Devine, Keegan-Michael Key, and Jeffrey Wright, and more. Honestly, it feels worth it with all their great performances throughout this series. It's all based on the old Dr. Seuss book about a guy who wants to brighten up a grumpy old man's life with some green eggs and ham. A pretty simple premise about trying new things that I thought couldn't work as a full series. I mean, they were able to make a sort of small adaptation of it, like back in the day, and that's about it. That's how it worked there. Considering it's a very small book you could read in less than 5 minutes, but it gets by with very charming humor and characters. Even does a nice little thing with each episode taking place in part where the different rhyme schemes of the book were, like the train and the fox and box and stuff. It also has an added premise to it by having the character's journey to return an escaped animal back to its home, as well as expanding on the message of trying new things by saying even if you fail at something, that doesn't mean you should give up. Its writing ultimately is the big strong suit for it, which honestly had to be in order to make this work. Clearly they had to add more to this very small premise, and they did it very well by putting some depth to the characters and the situations.
This story just got 1,000% better.
The characters bring the series alive with how much fun they can all be. You have Guy M.I., who's basically a stick in the mud. In the book, he didn't have much reason for it other than to teach a lesson, but here they make it so he's a failed inventor, so you have an understanding why he's a grouch. He can act like the straight man to everything crazy going on, so you find yourself relating to him because you know you wouldn't want none of this to happen to you, especially when it's because of some overly energetic person you just met, that being Sam I Am. He basically just has the biggest chip on his shoulder and doesn't have too much difference from his personality in the book. The one thing with him here is he's basically an animal activist, which plays into the story because he's liberating a chick giraffe. It's Dr. Seuss, what did you expect? This whole thing brings these two together and they're just plain hilarious. Sam getting on Guy's nerves can basically have you pissing yourself laughing.
Hope you slept well. Hey, do me a favor real quick and barrel roll out of the car when you get a chance, would ya? Just tuck your legs and
Sam! What are you doing out there?
Oh, out here? Well, we had to make a jump for it before the car hit that giant lake straight ahead.
What lake?
Oh, sorry. It's just below the cliff.
Cliff?
They still keep the whole Sam trying to get Guy to eat the green eggs and ham bit, but they put more focus on their opposing personalities, which was definitely for the better. Though they really like having Sam munch on that stuff at every turn. But a thing I really enjoyed about the whole green eggs and ham thing is that they added some character depth to Sam with it that I honestly don't want to spoil because it's done in such a strong and heartfelt way. It's just beautiful with how they do it. Even though they're at each other's throats, more so Guy and Sam, they still manage to have a deep bond with each other. The side characters also add their own brand of humor even. They're in that same vein of opposing personalities like Sam and Guy. There's Michelle E. and her daughter Elanabeth, or EB for short. They basically work as one being an overprotective mother while the other likes to have fun. A nice dynamic that calls for some good conflict and good bonding moments between them.
Your hair!
My hair? Oh, your hair!
Michelle E. and Guy end up having a bit of a romance together, and you really feel bad for them because of their opposing goals keeping them from really exploring that. You have the bad guys, McWinkle and Glunts, who make it pretty clear they're the bad guys. They even go as far as to have business cards just to let you know what's up. They work as the gruff vet close to retirement and the plucky new girl on the job. How they go about doing things, honestly, it's just pure fun.
Tell me, coward, did you find anything unusual at the scene?
Unusual? No, just a kite, a snorkel, and a povo pole.
Glunts, let him go. I meant let him go. Free.
Oop, my bad. My bad. Sorry about that.
These characters and everything that goes on with them is the big driving force for this whole series. It's how this thing works. They're all just fun and enjoyable. You just can't find yourself hating anyone here. You don't even find yourself just not relating to anybody. You honestly can understand where everybody's coming from. And that's just such the great thing about this series, having such strong characters, a lot of which weren't even in the original book or even in that original adaptation they did. And yet, they somehow managed to make them all great characters that you want to see more of. That's just brilliant in my mind.
You're the best!
The writing of this show is just hilarious. It knows exactly what it is and has as much fun with it as possible. The jokes are so tongue-in-cheek you would think it's trying to French you. They clearly needed this show to stand out as an adaptation, and they do that flawlessly, and honestly stands as the funniest Seuss adaptation now.
I already told you cops everything I know.
We're not the cops. We're the bad guys.
Yeah, it's even on our card. Check it out! Sweet font, huh?
You have cards?
You can still hear us!
Those are just curtains!
That doesn't mean it can't have strong emotional moments as well. Moments between the characters can sometimes make you want to shed a tear, as well as clever writing that expands upon the foundation the book built, putting in more than what was there. That takes some clear dedication, and a team just deserves a full-on round of applause. Like, stand up, y'all did the thing with this one.
We're a team. Dream team.
The animation is beautiful with some of that Warner Brothers feel to it. You have backgrounds that have a nice soft comfort to them while mixing well with these fluid character animations. It manages to move like it was a feature-length movie. I mean, with $6 million per episode, it better look this good, because this actually is the best that Dr. Seuss's style has ever looked. Now, it doesn't fully emulate that old, more sketchy original artwork of Dr. Seuss, but it still looks gorgeous. It proves that Dr. Seuss and his works are at home when they're done by Warner Brothers. That's the great thing about these adaptations. The ones that are done by Warner Brothers are usually the strongest ones, and that's no exception here.
For a family.
This sets a new standard for any Dr. Seuss adaptation. It had such a small foundation and practically built a well-reinforced skyscraper from it. The characters have more depth to them than the book, making for strong, heartfelt moments between them. The animation is phenomenal, with a warm and fuzzy feel that creates a nice feeling of reading the books with some cocoa or something. I don't know, whatever you fancy. The humor takes the best aspects of Warner Brothers animation and forms it perfectly with Dr. Seuss's style. It hands down holds the title of the best Dr. Seuss adaptation, not just because of its great execution, but because it practically took nothing and made so much more with what was given. That is honestly something you have to commend them for. It's just awesome, it's amazing, it's definitely a must watch for any Seuss fan. But that's just a thought.